Are you the person on the team that everyone comes to pick your brain and you really crave more influence? Hi, I'm Megan Akatsu. I'm a feminine leadership coach and I help high achieving women define success on their terms. All right, as women, we can see patterns very easily. We use our intuition, we navigate from there. So in a meeting, we know exactly who's going to speak up first, who's going to pick a fight. We can almost predict the reaction of our other team members before we even get into the meat of the meeting. And this is a superpower that we can see all of this. And then are you the person on the team where people come, they pick your brain, they want to understand what's being unsaid, they want to get a feeling for how the team is doing, and they just want to better understand. And so they come and they talk to you and you freely give them your advice because you're a team player. You're a nice person, you see it. And does it feel like it's appreciated in the moment, but then it's not valued over the long term? So then a promotion comes up and then you're told you're not seen as a thought leader or you're not strategic enough. And in your mind, you're like, yeah, but like I work really hard. I do my job really well. I lead my team really well. And I have all these other thoughts. And you come and pick my brain and you use my thoughts. And you know that I see all of these patterns and I see what's missing. And I don't have a problem naming what's being unsaid. This is you. Let's move away from you're the person that your brain gets picked to how do we have more influence. One of the ways to do this is to respond back in a framework that you have developed for yourself. So one of the frameworks that we're going to use today that is simple, it's called the GROW framework, GROW. Grow in the G. What is the goal? Where are we going? R. What is our reality? Where are we right now? O. Options. What are all the options on the table for how to get to our goal? And W. What is the way forward? So what is our best option and what are the action steps needed to get there? All right, so you're sitting in a meeting, you're watching all of the patterns, and you can draw this table or just write out GROW in your notebook. And then as you're listening, you're starting to highlight for yourself, what is the main idea? What are our options? What is the reality of where we are now? And even like, what are the missing pieces? And then you could even start documenting for yourself, what is my opinion about our best way forward? So I've spoken many times on this YouTube channel on you don't need to be the first to respond. So you might have all of these ideas, you see it all, you can see into the future, and you can even wait for the invitation of being asked, Megan, what is your opinion on this? And then this is where you could use the GROW framework. So one, you could use it to summarize where the team is in that moment. Okay, if I were to reflect back what I've heard today, this is the overall goal. This is where we are now. These are some options. And we are at the point where we are making a decision about how to move our way forward. That could be one way. Another way could be on how do you point out what is missing, where you say, we've defined the goal very clearly of XYZ. And though it doesn't feel like we have clearly identified what is missing right now or what our current reality is, and therefore it doesn't feel like our options are clear at this moment. So again, the people or the person that you're speaking to doesn't need to know that you're using a framework, but it helps you organize your thoughts instead of being the person who can speak very freely off the top of their head just because you can see patterns and you can see things really easily. And this is how one of the ways that we can move from, oh, wow, I go and pick Megan's brain all the time because she really sees all these things, to, wow, Megan's really a thought leader because her thoughts are very organized. And now that I better understand that we need to identify options before we move forward, we actually got to a better solution based on Megan's powerful question in that meeting. Another way that you can use pieces of this GROW framework is, let's say your boss does come to you to pick your brain and says, hey, Megan, I wanted to pick your brain. I really wanted to finalize this project. What do you see? Back in the day, I would have been the person who says like, I think we should go with option C, just because I saw it, I could feel it, it aligns. And typically I have learned that my intuition is pretty good and I rely on it. And in my mind, that was perfectly justified to say, like, we should just go with this option. And I will actually say my boss agreed with me most of the time. And yet it still doesn't position me as the thought leader because it really is truly my gut feeling. One of the ways to use a piece of this GROW framework is to say, I see three options and you can lay them out. So you're using the O in the framework. And then you can say to your boss, what is the one that resonates with you the most? One, this gets your boss speaking so you better understand where their mind is and what the other things that they are considering. It also helps you learn and get a wider picture of what's going on. It also puts it back on them. You have helped them by using a piece of the framework to ask them a powerful question, but you also haven't given away all your energy by saying, we should go with this. And it just allows them then to process for themselves. And then they can come back to you and say, oh, I really like that. What I'm seeing is XYZ. And then you two can continue to go back and forth about refining options, getting to a clear way forward. Then your boss sees that meeting and says, wow, like Megan was super supportive and helpful in this meeting. She really helped me get clear. And now we're in that thought leader position. Now we're in that influence position instead of like, oh, she's the person that I just come and pick her brain because she just has good ideas. So this is one of the ways that we use our superpower of seeing the nuances, seeing the patterns, navigating with our intuition, and then putting it into a structured framework, even if it's just for ourselves, so that if we are asked a question or it is time for us to speak up in the meeting, we can speak and respond in a structured way that is received more powerfully than us using our gift of our intuition of just speaking off the top of our head. Have fun. Let me know in the comments how this works for you. I'll see you soon. Bye.